Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 93 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin's voice echoed inside the giant demon clan. At the northern part of the giant demon clan, 500 kilometers underground, there was a golden cave with one person sitting inside. This person was sitting in the lotus position and cultivating. He looked very handsome. At this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze seemed to be able to penetrate the cave walls and see the outside. Shortly after, his eyes became cold and he muttered, "Junior Wang Lin, I'll let you be arrogant for a bit longer. Once I have finished my possession, I'll kill you. Even if you seal the giant demon clan members, I can just unseal them." With that, he closed his eyes again and began to cultivate. Just at this moment, his bag of holding began to glow black. He frowned as he slapped his bag of holding and the celestial sword he had stolen from Wang Lin flew out. Black gas came out of the celestial sword and took the form of Shuligua. Shuligua's eyes were bloodshot and his expression was filled with hatred. He looked into the distance and said, "Master, I can feel that the fiend is here. Master, I swore to get revenge on this person. Let me go out and fight him." The giant demon clan ancestor looked at Shuligua. Throughout the last 2 years, he had interacted a lot with Shuligua. He felt that a sword spirit with intelligence was really amazing and he really liked this sword spirit. "You want to kill him, but you have to wait until I finish my possession." Shuligua immediately changed his expression to one where he was trying to please the giant demon clan ancestor. He quickly nodded and said, "Master really cares about me. You're much better than that fiend, Wang Lin. I will forever remain loyal to Master. However, Master, when you are killing Wang Lin, can you let me land the final blow?" The giant demon clan ancestor laughed and said, "How did that Wang Lin treat you to make you hate him so?" Shuligua clenched his teeth and said, "Master, you don't know how much I hate that Wang Lin. Not only did he force me to work, but he would call me out just to beat and curse at me. Those don't matter much, but the more important thing was that he never gave me any benefits, unlike Master, who gives me spirit stones to absorb. Master, when we kill that Wang Lin, how about you award me with a few women? How about calling out little sister Fairy? I haven't seen her in a while and I really miss her." The giant demon clan ancestor faintly smiled and said, "This is easy. Once we kill Wang Lin, I'll call out Feng Luan's soul and let you meet her. Now this old man needs to go into closed-door cultivation, so go back inside." With that, he reached out. Although Shuligua had a smile on his face, he cursed in his heart. He went back into the celestial sword and was put back inside the bag. This sword spirit is filled with human greed. It is indeed very mysterious, but this also makes him easy to control. I can give him spirit stones and female cultivators, so I don't believe he will betray me. Also, this sword spirit seems to be obsessed with Feng Luan's soul. With her in my hands, he won't be able to escape me." The giant demon clan ancestor sneered as he closed his eyes to cultivate once more. Feng Luan's soul was the soul of a treasure he accidentally obtained one day. This soul was very beautiful and filled with lust. When he met it for the first time, he was almost mesmerized by it due to his low cultivation level back then. Luckily, this soul was damaged, so he was able to escape that calamity, and to this day, he still dreaded it. After obtaining the celestial sword, he found that Shuligua was very mysterious and so, to control the sword spirit completely, he called out Feng Luan's soul. As he expected, Shuligua jumped at the soul like a hungry wolf and was completely captivated by her. Wang Lin waited in the sky above the giant demon clan for a while. After seeing the giant demon clan ancestor not appearing, his expression darkened. The giant demon clan was very large and contained many mountains. If he really wanted to hide, it would be very difficult to find him. Wang Lin looked toward the east and saw the tallest mountain in the giant demon clan. For some reason, he felt a mysterious force coming from that mountain. Just as he was about to check it out, his eyes suddenly became serious as he looked toward the north and let out a faint smile. Shuligua. Wang Lin's figure disappeared and he charged north. He was flying with the body of a 3-star ancient god, so he moved as fast as lightning. With only a few teleports, he arrived at the northern part of the giant demon clan. Looking at it from above, it was a grassy plain. Wang Lin's eyes were sharp. As he spread out his divine sense, he felt like something was off. Around 500 kilometers underground, there was a thin barrier that would gently redirect his divine sense when it passed over it. If he wasn't so close, he wouldn't be able to detect it. With a sneer on his face, Wang Lin let out a roar, formed a fist, and smashed into the ground. Boom! An earth-shattering sound echoed and a crack appeared in the earth. This crack spread in all directions and also quickly spread deep underground. Waves of crackling sounds came from underground for a long time before it finally died down. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he let out another shout and punched the ground. The violent shock wave quickly spread underground. The sound of the earth shattering was like a dragon's roar. Giant demon clan ancestor, come out, now! Wang Lin shouted, and then he threw another punch. Boom! With this punch, the plane immediately collapsed, creating a huge hole, and then a green figure suddenly charged out from underground. Zheng Niu. This person was middle-aged, but his eyes revealed an age not fitting for his appearance. He looked at Wang Lin and shouted, I originally didn't want to deal with you yet, but since you came, it's obvious that you're looking for death. With that, he took a step forward, closed in on Wang Lin like lightning, and threw a punch. Wang Lin let out a laugh. He didn't back up but instead threw a punch to meet the punch of the giant demon clan ancestor. Boom! The shock wave blew back all the surrounding rocks and sand. The giant demon clan ancestor was knocked back tens of feet and cracks appeared in the bones of his right fist. His face was filled with disbelief. Wang Lin's body only backed up several steps and his arms slightly trembled. He could feel a powerful force enter his body and try to tear him apart, but that was quickly dissolved by his origin soul. The giant demon clan's body refining technique is indeed mysterious. Wang Lin charged toward the giant demon clan ancestor once more. The giant demon clan ancestor cursed in his heart. His possession wasn't complete, so he could only use 80% of his power. But even at 80%, the strength of his body was terrifying enough that he was not even afraid of certain treasures. But just now, when he traded that punch with Wang Lin, the hardest bones in his body had cracked. How could he not be shocked? What is your cultivation method? The giant demon clan ancestor quickly backed up with a gloomy expression. However, Wang Lin was too fast, he had already arrived before him with another punch. This punch created a pressure that locked him in place. Thin lines appeared out of nowhere and attempted to wrap around him. The giant demon clan ancestor's eyes lit up. As his body moved, it creaked due to the pressure and the thin lines. He jumped into the air and used a kick to meet Wang Lin's punch. Bang! Another earth-shattering sound echoed across the entire giant demon clan. The giant demon clan ancestor's face turned red. He used the force of the impact to quickly back away. Wang Lin felt pain in his right fist. He took a few steps back before finally stopping. Wang Lin took a deep breath. This giant demon clan ancestor hadn't finished his possession and yet his body was almost on par with a 3-star ancient god. If he was able to complete his possession, his body would be almost no weaker than a 3-star ancient god. The giant demon clan ancestor's face was really gloomy. When he saw Wang Lin destroy the 12 pillars, he decided to not appear. However, now that Wang Lin had found him, he had no choice but to fight. Wang Lin glared at the giant demon clan ancestor and charged forth once more. The giant demon clan ancestor let out a roar as his body grew and became a giant more than 100 feet tall. Without any hesitation, he used celestial spiritual energy and a golden light spread across his body. The amount of celestial spiritual energy Li Yuanfeng could use couldn't compare to him. After all, the giant demon clan ancestor had reached the early stage of soul transformation on his own. This old man didn't want to use celestial spiritual energy because it will mess with my possession. Otherwise, I would have instantly killed you with it. Now that you have forced me to use celestial spiritual energy, you're just asking for death, the giant demon clan ancestor shouted, and the golden light on his body became even brighter. Like the sun, the light was blinding. As his body moved, the sky shattered, creating countless spatial rifts. Waves of destructive wind came out from the rifts and covered the surrounding area. He threw a punch filled with golden light. This punch was filled with celestial spiritual energy. It was the full power of an early-stage soul transformation cultivator. Normal cultivators would infuse celestial spiritual energy into their spells and techniques, but for the giant demon clan members, nothing was better than their bodies, so this punch not only contained celestial spiritual energy, it also contained the powerful force of the body of a giant demon clan member. The power of one punch caused the entire plain north of the giant demon clan to shatter and collapse into countless specks of dust that were pushed far away by the pressure. Wang Lin, accept your death. The giant demon clan ancestor also felt helpless. Now that he had used celestial spiritual energy, this body could no longer be used again and he would have to find another body. After the body has been damaged by the celestial energy, he won't be able to properly fuse with it anymore. It would only be possible to use it if his cultivation level was at the mid-stage of soul transformation. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with a strange light. The power of that punch made him feel a sense of danger. Aside from the time he fought against the Heaven's Messenger, this was the second time Wang Lin had felt danger when he was fused with his original body. But at this moment, Wang Lin wasn't afraid at all. He let out a roar as the 3 stars on his forehead began to rapidly spin and a purple aura covered his body. At the same time, the figure of the ancient god appeared behind him once more. Wang Lin took a deep breath and gently threw a punch. Although the punch was gentle, it moved the ancient god figure behind him. The figure also raised its fist and threw out a punch at the same time. The giant demon clan ancestor's fist quickly arrived and collided with Wang Lin's fist. Boom! 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 The giant demon clan ancestor's face became pale as he coughed out a large mouthful of blood and his body weakened. Without any hesitation, he slapped his bag of holding, causing the celestial sword to appear. His expression was fierce as he shouted, "Wang Lin, accept your death." Then he threw the celestial sword and then pointed at it. Wang Lin's body flew back like a meteor and was thrown far away. His entire right arm felt sore and numb, he had lost all feeling in his arm. The combination of the giant demon clan ancestor's body and celestial spiritual energy inflicted damage upon him, causing his body to turn from a giant over 100 feet tall to normal size, but his eyes were still sparkling. The moment the celestial sword appeared, black gas came out of it, forming the shape of Shuligua. The giant demon clan ancestor's face was fierce as he shouted, "Slice!" The moment he said that word, a powerful sword energy gathered on the celestial sword and descended upon Wang Lin. Shuligua let out a roar and shouted, "Wang Lin, I'm coming for my revenge." The giant demon clan's ancestor revealed a smile and laughed. "Wang Lin, watch this old man use your own treasure to kill you." Wang Lin revealed a mocking smile. He didn't dodge but pointed at the celestial sword. The celestial sword suddenly turned around and slashed down on the giant demon clan ancestor like lightning. The giant demon clan ancestor was stunned and his expression changed. The sword energy was already upon him, so it was too late for him to dodge, he was only able to move back a bit. The sword energy slashed down and along with a splash of blood, the giant demon clan ancestor's left arm was cut clean off. He let out a miserable groan as he quickly backed up, leaving a trail of blood. Shuligua. This old man will extract your soul and refine you alive in yang fire. The hatred within the giant demon clan ancestor could shatter the heavens and his anger could swallow the land. He let out a roar of rage as he quickly backed away. He couldn't help but back away for he hadn't finished his possession and had to use celestial spiritual energy in that punch. Then Wang Lin met it with a punch with power equal to his own, causing his injuries to worsen. But he calculated that Wang Lin would be injured as well, so he took out the celestial sword to kill Wang Lin. However, at that important moment, Shuligua betrayed him, and he wasn't able to dodge in time, so he lost an arm. Shuligua immediately laughed and shouted, "Little brat, no matter how powerful you are, you can't compare to your grandpa Shu. I'm forever loyal, how could I be so easily controlled by you?" After Shuligua finished speaking, he quickly turned toward Wang Lin and smiled. "Master, how was it? How was it? Have I done good this time?" Wang Lin let out a faint smile. He moved and grabbed the celestial sword, then he charged toward the giant demon clan ancestor and said, "You did good. After we kill this person, I'll take you to the foreign battleground and let you absorb the wandering souls there to increase your soul power." Shuligua immediately became very happy. During these past 2 years, he was indeed tempted. After all, the giant demon clan ancestor was good to him. However, whenever he thought about how Wang Lin treated the wandering souls and number 2 and number 3, his heart shivered and he immediately gave up on betraying Wang Lin. In his view, this Wang Lin walked a bloody path, everyone who had messed with Wang Lin had been killed and none were spared. He felt that this giant demon clan ancestor wouldn't be any different, so he had to make sure he picked the right side or else there would be disaster to come. Right now he felt very proud and thought, "Your grandpa Shu is still the smartest. It looks like I did the right thing this time. In the future, this fiend will definitely see me in a new light." Thinking about how good the giant demon clan ancestor had treated him, he couldn't help but feel a bit sad and think, why couldn't Master have come in a few years so I could enjoy it a bit more? So unfortunate. Especially when he thought about that little sister fairy, his heart ached and he thought, "Don't worry, little sister fairy, I'll definitely save you from the sea of fire." Another reason why Shuligwa betrayed the giant demon clan ancestor without any hesitation beside his crippling fear of Wang Lin was Feng Wuan's soul. When he interacted with that soul, he personally promised to save her from the hands of the giant demon clan ancestor. Thinking about this, he quickly said to Wang Lin, "Master, that giant demon clan old bag of bones has a wheel-shaped treasure inside his bag which has a soul sealed inside it. Once you kill that old bag of bones, you have to save that soul." Wang Lin nodded. He moved like lightning with the celestial sword in his hand as he chased after the giant demon clan ancestor. The giant demon clan ancestor continued to roar. Most of his anger came from Shuligwa. In these past 2 years, he had treated Shuligwa well and even took out the sealed lust soul, but in the end, this Shuligwa still defected. "Shuligwa, this old man will definitely refine you alive." After the giant demon clan ancestor shouted this, he started moving even faster. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He raised his hand and swung down the celestial sword without any hesitation. A ray of sword energy suddenly shot out from the celestial sword. The giant demon clan ancestor dodged it and continued to escape. Soon, he arrived at the eastern edge of the giant demon clan. When he got here, he suddenly stopped and turned around. He slapped his bag of holding and a black stick appeared. He waved the stick, causing black flames to appear, then the stick suddenly turned into a torch. "Wang Lin, this place will be your graveyard. Your body will be used for my next possession," the giant demon clan ancestor shouted, and then he swung the torch in his hand. With a boom, the surrounding 10,000 feet suddenly became a sea of fire. "Black Flame Beast!" As he shouted, he stabbed the torch into the ground. Then he activated the celestial energy in his body and started to create seals, all of which were thrown at the torch. The black torch quickly started releasing a demonic light. All of the surrounding flames suddenly began to move mysteriously toward the torch. The flames gathered above the torch to form a beast over 100 feet tall. This beast had a big head and its body was covered in flaming spikes. The beast kind of looked like a bear but didn't seem to be one. This black flame beast let out a roar as its fiery red eyes locked onto Wang Lin and then it charged toward him. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. He swung the celestial sword and a ray of sword energy hit the black flame beast. The black flame beast was knocked back and a wound appeared on its chest, however, that wound quickly healed. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and the restriction flag appeared in his hand. He waved the flag and countless strands of restriction gas flew out. He softly said, "Seal." The restriction gas transformed into many lances, all of which flew down on the black flame beast like a rain of lances. After a series of bangs, the lances landed all around the black flame beast and completely trapped it. Wang Lin pointed with his right hand and whispered, "Explode." Boom! All of the lances exploded in one loud boom, creating a shock wave that spread out in all directions. As the shock wave approached Wang Lin, a soul flag flew out. This wasn't the 1 billion soul flag but the 1,000 soul flag that Wang Lin had refined himself. However, with Li Yuanfeng as the primary soul of this soul flag, it had already become very powerful. With a shake of the flag, more than 1,000 soul fragments flew out with Li Yuanfeng's soul fragment at the front. This soul fragment had long had its memories wiped by Wang Lin, now it was just a primary soul that accepted orders from the owner of the soul flag. Destroy. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. The 1,000 plus soul fragments all let out ghostly wails. Under the command of Li Yuanfeng's soul fragment, the soul fragments all charged toward the black flame beast that had just escaped the shock wave. After doing all of this, Wang Lin looked at the giant demon clan ancestor. Wang Lin didn't believe that a soul transformation cultivator only had this small amount of techniques. The giant demon clan ancestor had to be hiding his ace. Also, there must have been a reason for the giant demon clan ancestor to stop here. The giant demon clan ancestor took a deep breath. Both of his hands formed a seal and then a giant print appeared before him. With a roar, he pushed the giant print into the sky. The print quickly turned into countless smaller prints and disappeared. At the same time, the giant demon clan ancestor moved. He got down on both knees in the air and bowed to the sky. Then he shouted, "The giant demon clan's 67th generation clan member requests to retrieve the treasure left by our ancestor to resolve a calamity for my giant demon clan." The moment he finished speaking, the sky immediately darkened and the ground began to shake across the entire giant demon clan. There was a mountain on the eastern border of the giant demon clan. This mountain was very tall and was in fact the tallest mountain in the country. From a distance, it looked like it pierced into the heavens. At this moment, the mountain split in half and a giant axe emitting a red glow flew out. The giant demon clan ancestor revealed a look of respect he had never shown before. He reached out and the giant axe flew into his hand. In an instant, rays of red lightning came from the axe and covered the giant demon clan ancestor's body. A powerful aura never felt from the giant demon clan ancestor suddenly appeared. Wang Lin, back when my giant demon clan first moved to this planet, our founding ancestor used this axe to break into the immortal graveyard. While in there, he killed 2 nine-leaf savages to earn the right for my giant demon clan to live here. Today the founding ancestor is still missing, but the axe still remains here. Wang Lin looked at the red axe in the giant demon clan ancestor's hand. He couldn't help but think of the body that was buried under the corpse sect in Zhao. The giant demon clan ancestor held the red axe in his hand. Right now his aura was completely different from before. It was as if he had become a different person just by holding this axe. Red gas came out of the axe and entered the body of the giant demon clan ancestor. The red gas could be seen coming out of his orifices. From a distance, he looked extremely fierce. This red gas didn't stay around him, it was absorbed back by the axe, creating a cycle. The red gas would enter the ancestor's body and then come out to be reabsorbed by the axe. Every time this cycle completed once, the aura of the giant demon clan ancestor became stronger. He floated in the air and lowered his head to look at Wang Lin with a grin on his face. There were red lines gathered at where his left arm was cut up. These red lines slowly took the shape of a red arm. With a roar, he threw the axe with his right hand. Then the left hand, which was formed by the red gas, caught the axe. The moment he caught it, the axe released a bright, red glow. Wang Lin, accept your death. As the giant demon clan ancestor shouted, he stepped forward and swung the axe downwards. He moved very fast, in the blink of an eye, he arrived before Wang Lin as the axe descended. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He raised the celestial sword and then it collided with the red axe. Boom! A sound that could shatter the sky and earth and travel through the highest heavens could be heard the moment the collision occurred. Wang Lin could feel a powerful force from the axe. His body trembled as blood seeped out from his mouth and he quickly backed up. He backed up 1,000 feet. The giant demon clan ancestor coughed out a mouthful of blood, but his feet felt like they were rooted in place, so he didn't move at all. However, his body quickly shrank until it was 1/3 the size it was before. Although the current giant demon clan ancestor wasn't a bag of bones yet, he didn't look as strong as he did before. A roar came from the mouth of the giant demon clan ancestor. The current him was like a primal beast. His eyes were glowing red as he took a step forward and charged at Wang Lin with the red axe. Little child Wang Lin, die! The giant demon clan ancestor raised the axe and swung down again. As Wang Lin backed up, his eyes became cold, his hand formed a seal, and he said, "Honored soul flag." The sky darkened as if all the light had gathered before Wang Lin. A 30-foot tall soul flag that was glowing bright like a flame in the darkness appeared in his hand. The flag's pole was 30 feet tall, but the flag itself was much larger. It was moving in the air without any wind and there were 12 golden purple dots on it. The moment the flag appeared, countless ghostly wails came from the earth like there were lingering ghosts letting out their resentful cries. Strands of black gas came from ground and began to flee in all directions. The sky was completely dark. It was as if black sand had covered the sky and the sun and moon had fallen. The giant demon clan ancestor's charge suddenly slowed down and the red axe in his hand let out a loud buzzing sound. His red eyes revealed a hint of shock and a very well-hidden sign of terror. This is the soul refining sect. The giant demon clan ancestor took a deep breath. He seemed to recognize where the flag came from, but he couldn't believe it. After all, there was no way for the flag from his memories to appear in Wang Lin's hands. But at this moment, this flag looked exactly the same as the one in his memory, making it so he had to believe it. The 1 billion soul flag was used by Wang Lin for the first time. At this moment, at the border of the giant demon clan, the purple-robed woman who was still watching suddenly frowned. Du Qian kicked me out of the soul refining sect so he could pass the 1 billion soul flag to Wang Lin. Although this is only an illusion, it is not something the giant demon clan ancestor can resist. The purple-robed woman let out a sigh. She had been observing Wang Lin for a long time and still wasn't able to find his Dao heart. She might be able to succeed if she uses a secret technique while he is passed out. Thinking about this, she took a step forward and was about to head over when she suddenly stopped and turned around to look into the distance. A purple-robed burly man wearing a straw hat was walking over from that direction. His voice arrived before his body and said, "Lady Liu Mai, your opponent is me." The purple-robed woman looked at the burly man and whispered, "To have Martial Uncle Young's straw hat means that you are one of the 4 candidates he selected. However, with your mere mid-stage soul formation cultivation, you cannot stop me." The burly man let out a laugh and said, "Lady Liu Mai's cultivation is too much for me, but I can't just ignore Senior Young's order. How about you have a drink with me for a bit? Then I can leave and say I didn't disobey orders." The purple-robed woman moved a strand of hair behind her ear and let out a beautiful smile. "You are an interesting person, but you will have to wait for me to help the giant demon clan ancestor first, then I'll have a drink with you." The burly man shook his head and smiled. "That's no good. Wang Lin is my friend, how could I let you leave?" The purple-robed woman let out a sigh. She looked at the burly man and said, "Leave. I don't want to hurt you." With that, she prepared to leave. The burly man sat down in the lotus position, his hand formed a seal, and his domain immediately appeared. Behind him, the image of a young man appeared and looked at the burly man with deep admiration in his eyes. The purple-robed woman paused once more and looked back at the burly man. Behind her beauty was a very well-hidden ruthlessness. She whispered, "Emotion-cutting domain. No wonder you were chosen by Martial Uncle. What willpower, what a strong heart. To comprehend the emotion between master and disciple, you created an idea from intent, then used the idea to accept a disciple. To love the disciple as your son, to show kindness to gain gratitude, and to use the tragedy to enter the soul formation stage. Everything you did was to make yourself completely immersed in this master-disciple relationship. The day he finally comprehends his own domain and is about to break into the soul formation stage is the day where he must kill his own disciple. Not only must he kill his disciple whom he loves like a son, he can't give him a quick death, he must slowly make his disciple suffer. Only then can the pain in his own heart grow enough for him to use this sadness to reach the soul formation stage. It looks to be filled with emotion, yet it is ruthless, but somewhere in there is still a hint of emotion. To reach the soul formation stage like this is definitely not something a normal person can achieve. Back then, when Wang Lin saw this person, he couldn't help but let out a sigh. It wasn't something he could do himself. Wang Lin held the 1 billion soul flag up and then entered it with his origin soul. The flag began to move and a howl that could pierce the high heavens came from inside it. Countless soul fragments came out from the soul flag following the lead of the 12 golden purple soul transformation soul fragments. The giant demon clan ancestor's expression changed greatly. He never thought that Wang Lin would have this kind of treasure. He felt very bitter in his heart. If he knew that Wang Lin had this kind of treasure, then no matter what, he wouldn't have started the fight. Using his full power to escape would have been the best choice. However, now that things had reached this stage, he had no choice but to fight. If he were to retreat now, the only road left for him would be death, so he might as well go all out. A hint of madness appeared in the eyes of the giant demon clan ancestor. With a loud shout, he charged out once more. With speed even faster than before, he raised the axe and shouted, "Founding ancestor's right arm, help me kill this person." A bolt of lightning flashed across the sky. This lighting was red, and when it crossed the sky, the earth temporarily seemed to be dyed blood red. The giant demon clan ancestor was the person holding the lightning bolt, but compared it, he looked very small and insignificant. The red lightning bolt became the only thing left in the sky. As it descended, the shadow of the red axe could be seen inside the red lightning. Wang Lin looked at the red lightning before him. His eyes were calm as he pointed forward and said, "Soul flag, devour." The 1 billion soul fragments charged forth. As the red lightning descended, the 12 golden purple soul fragments charged out. They were as powerful as 12 soul transformation cultivators. Their hands formed seals as they all worked together to activate a spell. Rays of golden light connected the 12 soul transformation soul fragments to form a net that trapped the red lightning within. At the same time, the 1 billion soul fragments around the net seemed to have received an order from the 12 primary soul fragments. They all charged toward the net from all directions, giving off an aura that felt like they could shatter the world. If one were to look from above, the 12 primary soul fragments formed a circle and countless soul fragments surrounded the circle. At this moment, the countless soul fragments charged into the circle. Boom! 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 As the soul fragments charged in, the heavens and earth shook. It was impossible to see what was going on inside, one could only occasionally hear the miserable screams of the giant demon clan ancestor. But just at this moment, a ray of red light cut an opening through the soul fragments. The giant demon clan ancestor, who now looked like a bag of bones without any sign of life, charged out holding the red axe. After he appeared, he immediately coughed out a large mouthful of blood. He gave Wang Lin a poisonous gaze and was about to escape, but he was still too late. The countless soul fragments once more charged forth. The 12 golden-purple primary souls let out eerie laughs and pounced at the giant demon clan ancestor once more. This video will end here.